Jack a dull boy. So that's a proverb which you guys have heard. So before we jump into this, since it's going to be a fun element, or it's going to talk about the company culture and stuff like that, it would be really great if I can hear from you guys about a couple of things. So let's just do ice-breaking thing that I can hear from you. So feel free to chat here or write here so that I can see if you have any questions or you have any doubts or you were not able to understand something. Feel free to just write a note here. Okay. So first few things I would like to understand. So first of all, are you guys able to hear me clearly? Yeah, great. Thanks, Durga. Yeah, thank you so much. So let's just get started. So from this proverb, you will definitely understand this is going to be something with regards to fun. So my first question to you is this: um, top companies that you always admire and why. So if you can just help me with your chats, that would be great. So what is the topmost company that you would always prefer to work with, or not even working, but you admire always? Yeah, this company does all these things. So why would be that? Google, employee friendly atmosphere. Awesome. Yeah, everyone looks up to Google. So, Durga, can you just explain me what do you mean by employee-friendly atmosphere exactly? Wow, I get so many Googles. Awesome. Facebook. Okay, and why is it Kritika? Uh, okay, contented to work. Agreed. Salesforce. That's interesting. So if you can just explain me why. So yes, one is condenser, like the atmosphere is amazing in Google. That's definitely there. Flexibility for employees, sure. Okay, into more of work less of internal competition. Growth is fast, sure. Okay, so if you guys have to compare this with any other companies in India right now, so can you think about some companies like that? Sure, because of employee treatment, that's true. Like Indian startups, I mean. Can you think of any Indian startups or Indian company which you can imagine that it has amazing environment right now? TCS or Tata's? Are you serious? I mean, no offense, but seriously? Godrej Industries? Okay, all right, Durga. Sure. So, just to give a quick um, probably a hint on what I'm expecting. So, in older times, if you remember, our parents or grandfathers would have just said that, hey, I was working in a company, and which is basically a 9 to 5 job. So they can just go in at 9 o'clock and they can come out at 5 o'clock. Then they will just agree for the job and they will join that. And after that, our fathers slowly started working and they were expecting kind of benefits. So they would join only government jobs because they have this pension plan. Exactly. So because they had pension plan and they had PF and stuff like that. So benefits was something which was great during that time. But these days, again, time changes. So these days, just benefits is not enough. So people are expecting much more than the benefits and than the 9 to 5 jobs. So if I'm offering some candidate to, for example, like, hey, you can just work for 9 hours, you can just log in for 9 hours and you can go and you can take the salary, that's all. So no one is going to agree if my competitor is giving me much more than this, apart from the benefits, right? So that's something which I'm going to bring in here, like what we are going to cover based on that, right? So my second question to you guys is this: how many breaks do you take in a day? and why? Generally, I mean, I need not like lunch break and snacks break. Yes, that is there. But apart from that, yeah, 2 to 3, right? Awesome. So 2 to 3 breaks are generally including lunch breaks, or how is it? 1 to 2, okay. Sometime off work. That's exactly what I was looking for. Tea, lunch breaks, yes. True. So you will need some break apart from lunchtime, apart from snack time. You will need some break just to take off something from your mind to again concentrate on something. So why do you think this happened, right? So one thing is you should first of all understand that we need some time out to focus again with full-fledged amount of interest and stuff like that. So that's why we are taking breaks. So apart from the lunch break and snacks break, we do need a break to understand or take some time off and think about things and again channelize things and process it. So that's something which is important. So there are companies which will introduce fun elements for that second and third break. So let's assume first break is lunch, second break is snacks. Now let's talk about third and fourth breaks, which is important. So if I implement a foosball table in a company, if I implement a table tennis in a company, definitely people will agree to join that because they will utilize those breaks for that. So just like that, going out and walking is something which is always there. But apart from that, if you're also providing some facilities for employees to concentrate somewhere else, will definitely help, right? So here is my the next point. Like, what is the why behind your behind whatever you do in a day? So, apart from your salary, apart from your benefits, apart from everything, do you understand what is the why behind everything you do? Like, you work and you understand the objectives of the company. But sometimes we will just lose track on why we are doing this, right? So, in a day, if you just look back, if someone asks me, what have you done in a day? Sometimes I'll be able to answer, but most of the times I'll be like, yes, what did I do today? Like most of the things would be ad hoc. So why is it taking so much time? You are not able to process, but still few things will not be completed. So all these things are very important for you to process yourself, for you to channelize on what you are doing and plan your day accordingly. For everything, you need something which motivates you, right? So if I just go at 9 o'clock in the office and then I just log in and I just do some ad hoc work and I just way off some time and then just go out at 5 o'clock. And if you look at the time, you will still feel that you have worked a lot, but still you wouldn't have done so much. So you need some time to focus. So that's why we are doing this fun element. So when I say fun element, it's just not something which came in a day's time, right? So we have been taught about this from our school days. So here are some deja vu points for you to understand why we are doing this, right? So in our school times, there will be things like co-curricular activities are compulsory, and our parents would say like, "Hey, finish your homework and then go out and you can play." So we'll quickly finish the homework and then we'll go out and play, right? So these are something which we have been taught from our school time. So that's exactly what we are trying to implement here, right? So when I say co-curricular activities, it is purely based on the interest that you have or probably the passion that you get. So all we have to do is without affecting any flow or without affecting employee productivity, we have to understand employees' passion and we have to amalgamate the passion and fun. So job should be already a passion for them. We should make sure that we are also including some fun factors to that, so that when we amalgamate it, it is going to be amazing employee engagement, right? So let's say, for example, I'll throw some ideas. So there are something like hackathons which is happening these days, right? So again, that need not happen, but why is it happening? So people are feeling competitive enough and they are feeling valued, and they are actually including a lot of stuff like pricing, and they are actually offering a lot of jobs there. So that's something that we have to implement a lot. So here is my. So do you have any questions in between? Am I going too fast? Awesome. Great. So here are some quick things that I would like to really help it out, right? So let's just make it a seamless, seamless fun element thing, right? So first of all, we already have employee agreement in place. Like lots of companies do this employee agreement. When we amalgamate this with the fun and the passion, so passion is for employee agreement, so for an employee to make sure that he is working 9 hours in a time, and he is not going anywhere else, and he is not working with some other company, and he is just getting his salary based on the work he has done, based on the performance appraisal he has done. So that's which is already there in the employee agreement, right? So that is for the intellectual commitment. So right now, what I'm talking is employee engagement, which is psychological commitment. So I believe that lots of HRs are there in this group. So can you guys just help me out? What are the fun activities or employee engagement activities which you guys did very recently, which has become a huge hit in the company? Appreciation wall. Okay, Soumya, can you just elaborate on that? Like meditation sessions, interesting. Navratri dress codes, great. Online games, okay. Lose to win, okay. Weight loss game, that's awesome. Day outs, small parties, step tracker competition, great. So these are all seasonal fun games that you guys do, right? So is there anything that you, apart from this, do it on a daily basis, like becoming a practice? I'm asking. We have a cultural club within our organization which keeps engaging through events continuously. Okay, awesome. Wellness Wednesdays. Nice. Great. Appreciation every day. Appreciation walls. We celebrate wellness. Weekly meditation. Okay. Fun Fridays. Yes. Wellness Fridays. So most of the things are towards fitness and wellness. Great. Awesome. Men's Day, Women's Day, talent show. Sure. So amazing. You guys are already doing a lot of fun things, which is kind of helping the employee engagement activities. But apart from this, I'm asking that if the employees, are you conducting regular check-ins for the employees? Are you tweaking the employee engagement activities? When you say Fun Fridays, how big is it? How many times have you done that, and how many times it has failed, and how many times you have tweaked it? 3 days of outing yearly once, okay? So let's say, for example, we are having a Fun Friday. I believe, like in one of my previous companies, we had something called Fun Friday. And some of the times it was huge success, and again we started repeating it, and people they wanted some change, and then it was a huge flop again. So do you guys keep changing it like once in a month, or do you guys do it for like continuously, through which we engage different groups of employees periodically? Okay. Dance, photography, amazing. We change events every month. True, yeah. That's exactly what I was looking for. Daily music sessions, great. Like any one of your employees sings in a day? Oh, that's awesome, great. So similar to this, I would just, so these are all the psychological commitments that we would be expecting. Yeah, definitely, Annapurna. So one thing which, like as a HRs, we will constantly look out for better employee engagement activities through LinkedIn, to Facebook, like everything, whatever people are doing outside. So one thing which went really viral, that one morning music just starts and all the employees starts dancing, and a lot of companies behind that started doing that, right? So apart from that, I wouldn't suggest any HRs or any company to basically do what the other companies are doing. So it is purely based on the employee pulse. So if I have a lot of developers here in my company, but I still do a dance or music, I don't think a lot of people will be, throwing out themselves there and do the dance. So it will just probably reach one or two employees, not all the 100 employees. So it's our responsibility to make sure all the 100 employees are having fun. So during these seasonal occasions or seasonal events, this will definitely help employees to engage themselves, but only like out of 150 people will participate, and we have to keep on pushing them for this again if we are doing it on a monthly basis. So let's say, for example, I will. So we have implemented something like this in our sales team. So let's say, for example, when a sales thing is happening, and when they hit a huge deal in the sales team, so we have provided one big dong thing, so which they will just keep dinging that, or they will just keep. No, there is a huge bell that they will ring that as soon as they hit the huge deal. So this is not going to cost you anything, or this is not a huge deal, but people will wait to ring that bell anytime. So this is on a daily basis. So for that, they actually work a lot. So see, two things are there here. One, employee productivity is increased. They have achieved the target. And third, they really want to ring this bell. So none of the easy people like without targets can even touch that bell. So literally one person has to come and see and verify that, and then they will ring that bell, which is going to increase. So that is some fun element. At the same time, people are going to enjoy doing this. So that's what I meant by daily basis. But apart from this, the employee engagement activities like Fun Friday, team outing, team trips, and everything will definitely help. Yes, Rajni. So you have implemented this strategy. Yeah, that works amazing for salespeople. So similarly, we can have a lot of things that we can help out employees to, motivate them in terms of fun. So apart from this, all these things that we have focused on, like IPL and stuff like that, is definitely going to help with regards to sales team. So apart from this, if we have a foosball table or TT, so most of the employees enjoy letting themselves out, having a small competitions or small tournaments inside the team, and then they play and then they win accordingly. Then they get prizes and stuff like that. That's still going to be there, but this won't work for a long term. So again, if the foosball table is going to be there for 1 hour or two, like if you are going to play it for 1 hour or 2 hours, next day you won't prefer that. Like if I have another TT table, you will definitely prefer that. So our strategy should always be in a way that they are not utilizing it in a daily basis, but at the same time we should motivate them to use it. So that's why I took this example of sales team. So they can't ring the bell on a regular basis, but we are motivating them to do it. So that's something which, like on a daily basis, fun element which can help. And apart from this, let's come to the company policies and how to align that. So when I talk about company policies, we'll be having a lot of policies. Uh, One simple example is that working hours, right? So we should make sure that we are having people who are coming in at the right time at 10 o'clock in the morning and then going at 6 o'clock. So this is our company policy. So how do you make sure that you are ensuring people to come in by 10 o'clock and going off by 5 o'clock, right? So first important thing is you have to keep them engaged, and you have to keep something motivating for them to come around 10 o'clock in the morning. So it's very easy to implement or tell people that, hey, this is the company policy and you have to adhere to this, and 10 to 5 is your job and you have to come around 10 o'clock and leave at 5 o'clock, is something which we can always tell. But if we are working in the back end and if we are trying to target people to come around 10 and then 5, probably, like you guys have brilliantly suggested, like you have suggested meditation sessions, you guys have suggested fitness or wellness program, which you can implement in the morning. So people can come and do a meditation and then go. Apart from this, if you just provide some kind of continental breakfast or something in your office, which can help them to come and eat the breakfast and relax, give work and do. And apart from that, in my again, this is something which we have implemented in the previous to previous company, which is basically like they will have to just come in early. Like whoever comes in early, they will get to do this Xbox game. They can do this. So this Xbox is basically on, or it's switched on only from 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning. So people will start like rotationally coming in the morning. So they will be like, yes, I should go to the office at 9 o'clock so that I get to play this game today. So like this, we started motivating them to come, and especially not always Xbox will work, right? So something which, so we saw that all the millennials really like to play Xbox, and that's the reason we implemented. So you can actually check the age groups of your employee, and you can check their pulse and understand that, and implement something which will motivate them to come in the morning and go out. So second bit, which is very important thing, is company policies will be a lot. Like working hours is the simplest one which I've said, but apart from this, you will have to keep monitoring the performance, right? So how do you completely engage them in terms of performance and the cultural values, like aim for the best, include smart risk, take smart risk and decide on yourself. All these would be cultural, like company culture or company values, right? So how do you align that with the fun element? So first ever thing which we do in our previous to previous company is onboarding is very important for us, right? So first important thing is day one for an employee is completely important. So that's the base, and an employee is going to judge based on that. So day one, we will ensure that we are implementing all the policies and everything. Like we are registering all those things in their minds, and they work towards it. So when I say culture, so there were a couple of culture, like include craftsmanship, take smart risk. When I say smart risk, risk is that they need not wait for approval. They can just decide there, then and there, and if it won't affect the productivity. That was one of our culture. So for that, we implemented some games which actually helped the crowd to understand what was our culture value. So there is one more value that was called work as a team. So when I say work as a team, it is going to be the entire team which is going to take the ownership, and everyone are going to be included in that, and they are going to work. So for that, we individually conducted a games. Like we had a couple of posters aligned in a table, and that will be like jumbled way, and it's a like overall puzzle they have to arrange. So I will group like six people in a team, and then I'll ask a team to go and solve that particular puzzle. So from that, they will understand teamwork is very important. So I'll ask questions like, hey, what did you understand from this puzzle work? So what are the things that you didn't do but your teammate did? So something like this, which will keep on motivating, that will also register. So company policies are very important for that matter. And especially during the performance appraisal things and stuff like that, if you are setting one objective, make sure that reaches the employee. So when I say act as a team or do anything as a teamwork, so that is one of our performance appraisal which they are going to be appraised based on that. So if you implement some kind of fun elements towards it, which will register in the employees, that will obviously they will try to put it in as a practice, and then they will do it during the performance appraisal. So these are something which we are focusing on to implement into the company policy and aligning towards the fun elements, right? So apart from this, as I asked you in the beginning, like what is the most admiring company that you would ever want to work? Most of you had answered Google. because it has amazing work environment. That is very important again. So when I say foosball table, when I say table tennis table, that is still going to help. But apart from that, the chair where we sit is also something which is very important. A relaxed way of working. You can just go sit and do wherever whatever work you want to do on sit wherever you want. When you allocate one particular chair or one particular table to an employee, and you find that employee always to sit there, or if you're pushing them towards it, that won't really work. So I have literally seen this. So if you are just making them, just ask them to feel free to sit wherever they want, and discuss wherever they are comfortable with. So there are few meetings which had happened in a restaurant or a bar, and it had went really successful. So why is it not working inside the office? Because the environment. So we should make sure that we are creating a casual environment for them. So we need not spend a lot for them. Just one small bean bag is enough. Like to allocate small bean bag to each and every employee, they can just carry that and they can just sit wherever they want and they can work. So few people will prefer suddenly, probably that day they would prefer a silent atmosphere. That day they would prefer someone to be around. So that is always up to them. So creating a positive environment. uh, okay, are you able to hear me now, or is it still breaking? Uh, Shri, can you reply if it's working now? Hello? Is it still breaking, or is it fine now? Great. All right. Thanks, Nandakumar. So, great. So creating a casual environment is very important, right? So that's something which I would believe that making like a proper setup and creating a desk for them and constantly looking at the idols or constantly looking at the papers in the same position. Sometimes that would also create that disturbance in your mind. So if you just casually go and sit somewhere else and talk to people, get to talk a lot, and then or if you prefer a silent place, just go and take your bean bag and go sit there and work. So that's something which I really believe. Yeah, so that's something which I really believe. And last most important thing is like we should keep inspiring. So having smart people around us will again be one boon. So when I say smart people, you guys have brilliantly came up with a lot of employee engagement activities, right? So a lot of competitions that you would do, make it relevant to the job. So when I say I actually insisted about hackathons, so that is which is relevant to the job. So they will also utilize their skills. So make sure that all the participants are available. So let's say, for example, when I say hackathon, it's just not the developer. We can also include the sales team. We can also include the marketing team. Or we can also include all the teams to bring in the ideas and to pitch in a right way with the help of sales team and to do. Yes, absolutely, Rajni. I think you can get in touch with Shivam on that. Yeah. So constantly working on the like if you have smart people around you, that would be really inspiring for employees to work. So let's arrange for a guest lecture. Or when I say guest lecture, it will sound really boring, but if we make it as a coffee with current shows or stuff like that, right? So let's say, for example, we'll have one of the startup founder to come and talk about their journey, and let that be a mixture of a personal and a professional front. So let's do a small dig about their background and what have they come from, and like their personal questions. So we had this session where we had one of our one of the founder of a startup coming to the office and presenting about their journey. So it was literally a coffee with Karan. I hope you guys have seen the coffee with Karan, which is basically embarrassing the opponent person, right? So that way, I'm not asking you to embarrass the other person. It is just about making it more live. So just not asking questions like, hey, what are the struggles you have done? Like, what are the challenges? Apart from that, we'll ask a rapid fire round like, hey, what do you prefer? Do you drink tea or coffee? That will be an ice-breaking thing for the speaker as well, at the same time the audience. So that way employees will constantly be inspired about what they are working at, and they will also get a chance like, hey, you know what, my working company brought in the CTO of this company, a CEO of this company. I have seen this guy, and whenever they come across any economic times, that will again inspire them. So few things like this will again definitely inspire. So if we constantly inspire, so for me personally, I constantly get inspired by a person. So that will really help me to grow, again improve my productivity. So there will some of the points which will help them to get that spark and work. So probably the questions like, what are the challenges? If the founder is mentioning those challenges, and if I had personally gone through the challenge, then probably I would be inspired seeing that guy. Okay, that guy had gone through this challenge and he is here. So that's something which will inspire me. So again, this will increase the productivity. So adding the fun element to it, just make it a little more lively. Like Coffee with Karan is the best example that I can think of. But if you guys have seen a better way of interviewing a person, then you can definitely do it. So that's something which I can think of, and that's how you seamlessly amalgamate the passion and fun. So passion is the job that you are offering them, and the fun is all these things that you are going to do for them, right? And moving on, you should also make sure one important thing is that company policies are always important. Being a HRs, and we will be in a position where we should also support the employees. At the same time, company policy should also not be diluted. So that's something which is important for us, and that's up to us. So doing things, whatever I just suggested, like whatever the things which I just highlighted, and the practice which we have done before, would definitely help. And apart from that, the seasonal engagement activities, which you guys just mentioned, like wellness program, fun Fridays, meditation session, everything will definitely help. So I hope you guys have understood. And if you have any questions, you can just feel free to ask here. And by this, we can just align the or correct the employee wellness program like completely. We can implement the fun at the same time. We can increase the employee productivity as well. I'm seeing someone asking some questions. Oh, Annie, I'm not sure what was the problem. I think people were able to hear. Fun activities I can suggest, but can you just give me some kind of relevancy so that I can give you? So, fun activity for increasing employee productivity, or how is it? Okay, some employee engagement activities for employee based out of office. Yes. So, so few things which I can think of. So right now, you guys have just suggested like meditation day, and apart from that, everything. So, as I told you, one survey which you can just roll it out to all the employees and check the employees' pulse. So first, understand that hey, we are conducting the tournament here, or we are doing IPL here, or just check the employee pulse. Like how many people are opting for that, or team outing, or whatever it is. See how many people are opting for that, and then take them through the relevant thing. So if they have suggested team outing, as like most of 90% of the employees are suggesting team outing as their preferred ones, then you can choose and conduct games like dialogue in the dark. There are some restaurants like that where you can include a fun activity there. They do a team activity there. So it's a team building thing which I can suggest. Okay, Soumya. So need some suggestions for employee engagement other than fun at work. We already have meditation and appreciation. Yes, that's true. The employee engagement is the one which I just spoke about. we can probably so employee. When I say employee engagement, we should make sure that we are inspiring people through that, right? So that's how they start their productivity. So we can include like guest lectures or a session where people from different companies come and talk about their journey. Again, that would really help. That will engage the employees, and that will also, you will also understand the employees' pulse on what kind of questions. So before that session happens, let's say for example, tomorrow I am having CEO of Google coming into my office and doing it. It's just hypothetical, okay? So CEO office, and I'm just asking them to come and give a guest lecture. So a week before, I'll start asking my employees, hey, this person is coming, and I'll give them a background about this, so they can start asking questions, like probably anonymous questions, and we can have a host doing that and ask questions on behalf of that, and we can also engage them personally as well, like how do they manage their work-life balance and stuff like that. So I think that would help, Sonia. Rajni, actually, I'm facing problem in one of my policy that management didn't allow paid leave because we are startups. They think this might not be the right time leave policy cases. That's very true, Rajni. So one thing which I would, yeah, most of the startups will not really agree for paid leaves, absolutely, because they are just growing and they need productivity time. So I definitely get that point. One thing which I would suggest is based on the Shops and Establishment Act, providing employees leave is something which is very important. So as a company, you should have something on leave basis. So apart from that, we can bring in some leave policies like earned leave, where they have to work for a month. So they have to basically earn that, and then they can avail that leave. So that kind of leave we can implement. So like 3 months continuously without a leave you have come, there you go one more, you get one more casual leave. So like that you can implement, so that it is not affecting the productivity. At the same time, you are not giving them a lot of leaves, and it is again a paid leave for them. I hope that helps, Rajni. Feel free to reach out. Consent office cannot be closed any of the day. Service industry. Okay. So you mean to say that you're working 7 days in a week, Durga?
No, Durga has previously
Please
asked a
explain about
question.
the employee agreement. I'm sorry?
Durga has previously asked a question where she was telling that she has 16 different work locations and 2 corporate officers. So how does
Oh,
she
okay, I missed it. I'm
provide
sorry.
employee engagement there?
16 work locations and 2 corporate offices.
So if she's sitting in North India, how
Okay.
does she provide the same experience in the other part of the country?
Yes. So there are different locations, and you can't really combine all the employees together and do this employee engagement activity, which is a very fair point. So one thing which I would suggest is, so we can have one mandatory time where they are coming to the corporate office, like 6 months once. We can have this mandatory time that they have to come to the corporate office, and probably you can do an entire day engagement activity. Probably you can play mafia inside the office. You can play some ice breaking games. So it's a mafia day, or it's a anniversary day, or something of that sort. So that would definitely help. Like that will motivate all the employees to come and sit in the corporate office and work. At the same time, they will also come and get to see the corporate office once in a while, and we can arrange for the transportation if that should not be a problem. I hope that answers your question, Durga. Coming to Merlin's question, please explain about employee agreement part again. So I was telling this employee agreement will basically have all the terms and conditions that an employee should sign, like basic agreement where an employee has to work 6 days in a week, or 9 to 5 job he has to work. In case if he is taking LOP, he has to make sure that that payroll is automatically deducted and stuff like that. That will be there in the employee agreement. The highlights of it is probably is nowadays called company policy, or company culture, or company values. So when I say 9 to 5 a job you should work, the company culture will say that, hey, it's our working timings is 9 to 5, or if we are saying 9 hours you have to log in, our company culture will be flexi timing. So that's the modern way of saying. So company values and culture is the modern way of the employee agreement as far as I'm thinking. So when you are trying to implement those things, like employee company culture and values to the employees, we have to make sure that we are conducting some kind of games or some kind of brainstorming games that will help them to remember the company policies for a long-term purpose. Pranay, in our internal employee surveys, a lot of our male employees are complaining that some of our policies are indirectly favoring female employees. How do we handle this? Great. So, Pranay, that's a very fair question, and I don't know how to answer that. But yeah, I can probably suggest you one blog which I actually saw, Xoxoday's blog, like how to make an employee survey interactive. Like where do we exactly fail? So that's something that's a brilliant blog which I really read, and you can just tweak a little bit. Probably the questions we are asking or the policies that we are bringing are like that conveys in a wrong way that the female employees are given importance, but we can tweak a little bit so that the male employees are also understanding that that's not the case. I don't think that's the case in your company. It's just the way we portray, so we can just tweak a little bit. So I think Xoxoday's thing works. I think you can just adapt to that. Okay, Durga is saying it's not possible at all at one go. Okay, so probably I can think and get back to you on this, Durga, because I should understand more about what is the constraints, and I can definitely suggest in that case, like personally through an email or something. I think, yeah, I can share it, or I can ask the Zozo Day Shivam or someone to help you through that. Yeah, so they have shared it. I have similar employee situation. Yes, Jyoti. So I will really help you guys on this if I can just get a little more context towards it. If I am suggesting something, there will be a constraint for that too. So I would just, if I get more context or constraints on that, then that would definitely help me to suggest some options for you. I mean, I would be really happy to do that as well. So, any other questions do you guys have?
Hi, Raj Lakshmi. So, hello?
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, so I just received a question on my mail.
I'm sorry.
I just received a question on my mail,
Okay, okay, sure.
email, which says that how do you maintain the culture when Fun Element starts, bringing in uh, into your work culture? Like, I'm sorry, let me just rephrase it. Okay, I think it's supposed to say like when the fun elements start coming into the way of your work. How do you take care
Mhm.
of that?
Yeah, so I just spoke about that in the middle, but I don't think I have highlighted on that. So one thing which might spoil the employee productivity is also fun. So we should make sure that we are implementing that in a right way. So let's say, for example, I actually suggested about the sales thing, right? Ringing that bell is something a fun thing, but at the same time, they can only do when they achieve it. So we have to keep a benchmarks and a control or something of that sort in such a way that they will be able to access or they will be able to do that fun element only this. So that is the deja vu point which I actually gave you. It's like if you do the homework, then only you can go and play. So it's same formula works everywhere. So we can implement everything, but at the same time, like Xbox thing, which I just suggested, like for the people for whom they have to come in the morning, we just said like, hey, the Xbox is open from 9 to 10 in the morning. So people will come and they will utilize that 9 to 10, and then they will start working from 10 o'clock. There is no power to the Xbox. So something like that, we should always have a control on the key thing, that they are not using it completely, but at the same time they are always motivated to use it. I hope that helps.
Yes, yes, it definitely does.
Yeah, sure. At times, people waste a lot of time clicking selfies on event days rather than working, which then becomes talk of town and HR gets blamed for that. I agree with you, Durga, which I have faced it too. When I say fun elements, I also spoke about breakfast thing, right? So one of the employees' concerns, so employees' concerns changed after we implemented fun elements a lot. So what happened? We actually implemented buttermilk during the summertime. So what happened? People started complaining, saying, "Hey, there is no salt in buttermilk. How can I drink?" So these are something which like people will start expecting a lot. So just note few things which you think that it's completely irrelevant. It's not that you have to please employee on all these things, like putting salt in a buttermilk is something which we can still manage to uh, do with the employees. So clicking selfies, yeah, so I'm not very sure how often they do. Then probably you can just seize the phone for some time, or you can just ask them to keep it aside when they work. So when they probably work, or when they come into a meetings, especially, we'll make sure that, hey, drop all your phones here and then attend the meeting or something of that sort. And at the same time, we are also completely engaging them in terms of the meeting as well. So few things as a HR we should not bother a lot for in terms of employee engagement, but yeah, at the same time we should also make sure that employees are having fun. Yeah, she can. Nandakumar suggested this, that she can implement mobile usage policy. Okay, Soumya is asking, other than Xbox, can you suggest something else which doesn't involve any cost? Yes. Probably, let me think about it. Like, that's what just came to my mind. Right now, I'm just completely blank. But yeah, there is a lot of things that you can actually think of to make employees come in the morning and do stuff. Probably when they come in the morning at 9 to 10 o'clock, they will probably get uh, a chair or entire day where they can sit in a bean bag. They will get that that's, I think it's just very lame than giving, but if I can think, I'll definitely give you a solution on that. Other than, yeah, that's what I answered. Durga, today about Zozo Day.
Durga, sorry, this is a very informative session, and we will not be talking about Zozo today. But I'll definitely reach out to you, and then we can take it forward. Uh,
Sure.
so also, if you have any other queries, maybe you can mail me those queries, and then I will forward it to Ms. Rajlakshmi.
Absolutely, yeah, that would work.
And so, thank you for this session today. It was a very informative session, and I thoroughly enjoyed it a lot. And I hope that everyone else did.
Sure, thank
And
you so much.
everyone, I will be sending you a email copy of our webinar recording and as well as the PPT. And also, if you would like to please speak, throw some light on skill link. This would be a good
Absolutely.
time.
So I was just about to do a wrap on that. So Skilling, we are again a startup. So most of you guys actually had told about, hey, it's very difficult for me to implement leave policies and stuff like that. And we are a startup, and it's just been 1 year, and it's been backed up by Y Combinator, and it's an e-learning startup. And I'm building the company policies from scratch. I do go through all the concerns that you have just mentioned, but fun element introducing that is becoming a easier part for me to engage employees in a better way and increase the productivity. So I would give you some points that we are actually Monday to Saturday working company, but I have not seen single employee complaining about the working hours or Monday to Saturday. And I think it's absolutely because the employee engagement that we try to always do inside the company. So we are it's just been 1 year since we started, and we are in hiring spree right now. We are just hiring left, right, and center, and so that since we are hiring, we are also making sure that the employees understand what we are and what our vision is, and then come inside the office. So that's something which we are constantly looking at, and that's the reason I specified about onboarding as well important in terms of company policies or anything, that because day one is going to define their entire service period in the company. So that's something which I thought is important. So that's about my company, and you can feel free to Google about it. And yeah, soon you'll hear about it a lot.
Uh,
Yeah,
all right,
thanks,
Ms.
Durga.
Nishita, thank you for joining
Thank
us
you
today,
so much.
and thank you everyone for attending the session. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.